Hey guys, I'm going to touch on a couple things here. The question that comes up a lot is E1 codes, what possibly can happen for an E1 code, and where do you start? You have your normal troubleshooting. I've got a video on that, how to do it with a meter, and you put on DC mode and put your two leads on 2 and 3, or either N and S. It's the same thing. I'll show you on my training model here what you got. But there's a couple other things that can cause an E1 code. E1 code is a communication between indoor and outdoor of a mini split. And basically what that is the data signal in between. That data signal is really light and anything can interrupt it. So there's actually a 5-volt sensor on the board itself. If that is disrupted and it's 4.5 volts, 4 volts, 3 volts, then that can throw off the communication. So I'm going to show you how to check that and check sensors and that kind of thing, just to make sure you don't have an underlying issue. And the main components of a mini split, most people hadn't seen the cover off, so they're very simple. Just try not to make them too hard, and once you understand what they are, it's easier to figure out what we got. So I'm going to flip the camera around and just show you. Okay, here's the training model, and what we got is, of course, this is your compressor. These are your sensors. You got a discharge temperature sensor. You have a coil temperature sensor down here. And then on the other side, in the front, let's see if you can see it, that's your ambient temperature sensor. So you got 3 main sensors on this thing. You have a reactor. The job of the reactor is, what that does is it removes amperage from the control board to keep the control board from burning itself out. So you have voltage, but it removes the amperage. So here's a few things. The reactor should have very little resistance, 0 resistance, maybe 0.1 if anything. So only thing can cause it to fail is if the shellac was to burn. You would have a power surge or something, and it was short one wire to another. Other than that, the reactors generally never fail. What we have on the sensors, all right, the sensors, let me see if I can show you this up in here. The sensors mainly generally go to one plug. Let's see if you can see up in here. Right here is the main plug, and then those 3 sensors plug in separately to that plug. One thing you can do, and you can test every sensor, and I have a video of that, but to keep this short, what you can do is, if you have an E1 code and you're questioning where the problem is, whether it's the control board, whether it's the wiring, whether it's a sensor, what you do is unplug the sensors. Just unplug them. You will throw a sensor code, but your E1 would go away. Because if it throws a sensor code, you know that the outdoor unit is now communicating with the indoor unit. So unplug your sensors. Let's see if we can get it right here. There's your main plug. If I can get it in there, zoom it in there, right there. So unplug your main plug for your sensors, and let's see if the E1 code goes away. Another thing can happen is if you have an EXV valve right here. That is one plug. That EXV valve, let's see if I can find the plug. It's different on every one, but all you do is just follow your wire up, and right here it is. It's right beside the sensors. So you can unplug that. Normally, they will not ever throw a code for an EXV valve. Unplug EXV, see if it goes away. It's an easy way of troubleshooting. If it does go away and system operates, then you need to replace the EXV. And normally you don't have to replace the whole one, just the head. The head comes off. And the 5 volts I was talking about, let me find it on the board here. If you look at the top of the board, you will have voltage marks on here. Here, see if I can zoom in there so you can read it. 5 volts. So if you read from pin to pin, you should have a dedicated 5 volts constantly on that board. If you don't have that 5 volts, then one of these could actually be your trouble. And it could be just as simple as that. So you might not have a board problem, you could actually have one of your sensors or TXV causing your problem. And the way you would read it on the meter, if you look at my past video, here we got 2 and 3. Basically what this is L2, and then 3 is our signal wire. Sometimes we have L1, L2, and S, or N and S. But positive here, negative there. In DC mode, it should fluctuate between 0 and 50 volts, positive to negative. So those are a few steps to take to help diagnose a E1 code. So hopefully this helps and gets you started in the right direction. Of course, always inspect your board too. Make sure you don't have any burnt spots. Another thing I should touch on is when you're testing this, there's a slack on this board and it keeps corrosion and stuff off. So when you test the 5 volts, you might have to scratch just a little bit before you do it. And of course, before you do that, cut the power off. Then cut your power on and test your voltage. But you might can see that little bit of stuff they put on it to keep the corrosion off. Okay, hope this helps. And all you want to do, mini splits, I got kind of a variety of videos on there, but like the video, subscribe, and I might have a lot more videos coming up. Help you guys out.